Hey, what's going on, people? So I saw this video. What's going on, No More Libs? I saw this video from none other than Emerican Johnson. And it's not completely surprising. But the thing is that he came so damn close to Fed posting. I mean, actually, he did Fed post, but it's like he tried to backpedal. So before we get into this, I just want to say I do agree with him on some points, but I disagree with him on a lot of others. So let's get into it, shall we? What's going on, Red Dindonian? What's going on, Tim and Jin? Let's go ahead and get into this right quick. Let's go ahead and go big screen here. Let's do it.
Hi, Emerican Johnson here. Today we are at Hoan Kiem Lake, also known as the Sword Lake, here in beautiful Hanoi, Vietnam. And I'm here today to talk to you about war. But we're not here to talk about the Vietnam
Just let this
War.
roll
No,
for a
we're here
minute.
to talk about the American Civil War. And I'm not talking about the one that took place in the 19th century. I'm talking about the one that's happening right now. Wait, I tricked you. They're both the same thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. This is non-compete. So there's been a lot of talk recently about the new American Civil War, American Civil War 2.0. And there's a lot of people speculating whether or not we might be having a civil war soon, because maybe Trump won't cede the election peacefully, or maybe fascists will rise up if Trump loses, or if Trump wins or electioneers himself through tampering and voter suppression into the second term that we all dread, maybe that will cause enough friction and tension between different factions of the working class in the USA, and it will lead to...
Oh, this is a different one. He just uploaded this one today. Yeah, Red Dindoni. He uploaded this one today. This is, are we already having a second civil war, or did he already talk about it? Because I think he just uploaded this like a couple hours ago. But maybe he did. I don't know. I'm just saying, yeah, George Galloway is streaming right now, but your streams are funny. Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, though, man.
A civil war, another civil war. But here's what we must understand as radical leftists who oppose fascism. The civil war that took place in the 19th century never really ended. It still rages to this day. And if you think that sounds like horse hooey, then maybe you should...
I can agree with this point, but I don't really agree with what he actually says, though. So let's get into that.
Look at things from a different perspective, because yeah, we all learned that in 1865...
And it's basically the omissions that he leaves out. That's my view. I'm not going to disagree with what he actually said, but let's go ahead and get into it.
The Civil War ended with the Battle of Gettysburg, and, you know...
No, it didn't end with the Battle of Gettysburg. The surrender at Appomattox. God, dang, God, I'm sorry for that, but oof. The surrender at Appomattox. Especially, I mean, this dude's supposed to be from South Carolina. He's from South Carolina. I'm trying to use the accent, but yeah, he's from South Kakalaki. He doesn't even know that was... Oh, okay.
You know, the Abraham Lincoln got shot in theater and all that crap, but you know what? That was the war between the states. But that wasn't the only aspect of the Civil War. It wasn't the only perspective of the Civil War. As W.E.B. Du Bois, and yes, I'm pronouncing that correctly, comment people, you don't have to comment on my pronunciation. It's pronounced Du Bois. That's how Du Bois pronounced it. Every time I make a video about Du Bois, everyone says it's pronounced Du Bois, but it's pronounced Du Bois. That's the way he pronounced it himself. So there. In
This is the same video?
750-page Monster of a Tome Black...
Wouldn't he... Oh, didn't he just do it today? This is the same one where he said, okay, well, I'm doing it anyway. Okay, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Reconstruction. Du Bois talked about the Civil War in terms that are much different than the way we mostly learn about it in school in the USA. Obviously, the way that we understand the Civil War, the American Civil War in the USA, is that it was a conflict between the Confederate States of America and the United States of America, which ended in 1865 and was primarily fought over the issues of state cohesion of the USA versus the Confederates' desire to secede. And of course, the North wanted to end slavery. At least that's the way I was taught things when I was in elementary and middle and high school. But the way Du Bois described it was more of a conflict between the slaves themselves and the capitalist elites of the world. Du Bois basically described the latter part of the Civil War as a general strike that the slaves themselves enacted to pressure the North and the elites of the world to end slavery. You have to remember that the cotton industry...
Okay, there's a lot of reasons why this argument doesn't necessarily hold water. Number one, I'm not going to sit here and suck the cock of the United Kingdom. But the thing is, the UK ended slavery before that. France, of course, had to end it because of, the slave revolt in Haiti. So ultimately, they're like, well, mon Dieu. And of course, I know. But the thing is that what are you fucking talking about? Oh, well, they're defending slavery for the South. It's like, yeah, okay, the British did help the Confederates. But that was more of a sense on, we want to dab on the Americans. That's what it was. So this idea that they're trying to defend slavery, it's like, okay, you may have a point. But the thing is, it's like, okay, I mean, you could say the same thing in your own native Vietnam, right? Now your own native Vietnam, where it's like, yeah, do you see how people are treated there? It's like, even he has said, it's very interesting, when he was a marketer, in his earlier videos, he would talk about how, the Koreans looked down on the Vietnamese, because he worked in South Korea for a time as a marketer. And then he ends up in Vietnam somehow. It's like, so I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, you want to talk about slavery. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting off on a tangent, but it's like, yo, what are you even talking about, man? Okay, go ahead.
That time supplied the entire planet with cotton, which was very vital for the
oh, really? Huh.
booming textile industry at that time. And by withholding and slowing down work and otherwise enacting a general strike, the slaves were able to put pressure on not just the North, but the whole world to pressure, in turn, the Confederates to end the institution of slavery.
This is, okay, in the whole world. It's like, I don't think that's true. I mean, the thing is, like, bruh, that's a very limited view. It's like, I have never read this book by W.E.B. Du Bois, but it's like, that's very oversimplified, isn't it? That's very oversimplified to me. To be like, oh, well, it all occurred because of that. It's like, and of course, he's not going to talk about, Nat Turner's rebellion and all that type of thing. I guess that's all part of it. It's like, but to say that, oh, well, it was, come on, man.
Ending slavery was not initially a priority of the North in the Civil War, and Abraham Lincoln wasn't overly concerned with it until those economic pressures were placed.
That is true, but then there are going to be other lefties who are going to say, well, Marx did support, Lincoln, and wrote to Lincoln, and there were, generals, there were generals who were in the Union Army who were German and who did support socialism and did support communism. And, like I say, that's what people would argue against. I don't really get that. Yeah. Cotton was important to the world. There are other places to make cotton. I don't really get this idea where it's like, the thing is, the South in general was in a pretty horrible place as far as I know. I mean, like I say, maybe I'm not aware of it, but the thing is that there wasn't, I mean, the South was given crapola arms. They were given Napoleonic era firearms to fight against the Union. So I don't really get this idea that, oh, well, the South was so important, this and that. It's like, no, the South was in a crap hole, in a lot of ways. And they were backwards, obviously, in a lot of ways. So I don't really get this idea that, yeah, maybe cotton was, but the idea that the South, that they were forcing the South to bend and say, we're not going to allow, the end of slavery was inevitable. Northern capitalism has spread to the West. Yeah, that's true.
In the North, as Du Bois...
Basically, the Civil War was a war between open slavery versus wage slavery. I'm just going to say it. The American Civil War was a war between wage slavery and open slavery. That's all it is. I mean, in a lot of ways, the differences were minor, to say the least. It's like, wow, you're free to keep children, working in these factories in Chicago or wherever the case may be, so that they can work for, pennies. But that's, so to simplify it and be like, oh, well, they just want to get rid of slavery. It's like, the thing is, the North wasn't that much better. But yeah, go ahead. That's me.
To put it, striking slaves. So what we have here is a conflict not between the North and the South per se, but a conflict between the slaves and the global elites at that time for not ownership of their labor, but at least ownership of themselves and freedom from slavery. Now, the reason why that's important today is because that conflict between labor and elites never ended, especially the conflict in the USA between minority workers, poor workers, and the white supremacist capitalist class. And that conflict has raged on and on for decades and decades. There were successes during Reconstruction, as Du Bois points out, where black leaders were able to institute things like public schooling, public health care initiatives that would probably never have been initiated under white-dominated politicians who had ruled the South before the Civil War. But obviously there were major setbacks and failures and disasters and attacks on black people and poor people in the South and across America for decades to come.
Yeah,
whether
I
you're
don't
talking
deny
about Jim
that.
Crow laws, the civil rights struggle that took place in the 60s, assassination of black leaders like Fred Hampton.
Once again, it always comes back to Fred Hampton, doesn't it? They don't like to talk about the light-skinned brother. They have to talk about the dark-skinned brother that was an ML. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know the minute I say make any allusions to the Black Panthers, I know Mantis is gonna come out and be like, "Why are you talking?" I have a feeling it's like he's lurking. I feel like it, but it's like, come on, that's way. you're trying to link all these things. Like, yeah, I can understand why, and how you could bring it to that point, but to try to compare those things, it's like, the thing is, what he won't mention are people like Marcus Garvey. He won't mention him. He's not going to mention also the open, more of a black nationalist type of dude who was running for the Republican Party, I believe, for president, a black dude. And I think that he infiltrated the Confederate Navy or something like that. I can't remember his name offhand, but it's like, bruh, are you kidding? You know what? Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to look for it now. Let me see here. Hold on. Jefferson Davis, Robert Smalls. I think that is his name, Robert Smalls. Yeah, Robert Smalls. He's not going to talk about this guy. He freed himself and his crew and their families during the American Civil War by commandeering a Confederate transport ship, CSS Planner. Okay. Smalls was the last Republican to represent California's 5th Congressional District. If I'm thinking correctly, after the Civil... Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I'm bugging. Okay. Maybe it's a different guy. I was going to say, is it... Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. All right. I was going to say, though, is that he really wanted, a form of black separatism. But, of course, I mean, people like that don't really want to talk about those issues. I'm just saying. I could be wrong. What's going on, Union Army Ball? Yeah. Population difference was real. Was the real advantage of the North? Yeah. Both sides had similar arms at the beginning. Repeater rifles became more common as it went and probably were more common in the Union, but I don't think that made a huge difference. Okay. Yeah.
And of course, now that comes all the way up to today, where Donald Trump just announced live at a rally that he ordered the assassination of an anti-fascist activist. He basically ordered U.S. Marshals to murder an anti-fascist activist right here on American soil in the USA.
We sent in the U.S. Marshals. Took 15 minutes, it was over. 15 minutes, it was over. We got him. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. In 15 minutes, that ended.
Of course, he's talking about Michael Reinl.
Okay, we've been over that. and over that. So we're not gonna, I'm not gonna belabor it. I've waved the white flag. I've waved the white flag and said, fine, that he was murdered by the U.S. Marshals. What he doesn't talk about, though, is, of course, the gentleman, Matthew Doloff in Denver, who killed a magapede. He doesn't mention a word about that. But such is the way. I know that's nitpicky, but still, nonetheless, go ahead.
Who is accused of shooting a fascist conservative.
Fascist conservative. It's kind of funny, once again, because the conservatives didn't like the fascists overall. And the thing is, the one plot that actually came close to killing Hitler in the Second World War was committed by a conservative. But of course, I know. Context is hard. I know. Go ahead.
I believe in self-defense based on the evidence that I've seen, but regardless, I think it's fair to say that Reinhold deserved a fair trial, which I think is...
You would not feel the same way if it was the other way around. You would not feel the same way. Don't give me that nonsense.
Bare minimum standard for liberty, when it comes to...
Oh, you didn't miss that
how
much.
we deal with potential criminal suspects. Instead, Donald Trump, as he admitted openly during a rally, ordered the targeted assassination of Reinhold by U.S. Marshals. Now, this is just one more body and a large body count that goes back, again, centuries, all the way back to and before.
So the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with him on that. Yeah, you could say that, yeah, it has been a link, but to say that all those people all agree with each other, and so that you're trying to have some link, that's a stretch, to say the least. To think that, John Brown has the same link with Michael Reinhold. Well, actually, there could be some links, because realistically, John Brown was just a rich white dude who failed, or he came from a rich family who failed at his farm, and he ended up, becoming, the typical type of white shit lib who ends up infiltrating, a black sort of movement. He said, well, we're going to free the slaves and all that business. And of course, people still love to suck his cock. They still love to talk about John Brown. The thing is that he was a fuck up. And Michael Reinhold, being a professional, snowboarder and everything else. Yeah, you can look it up. Yeah, he was a professional snowboarder who was, doing drugs and everything else. But it's like, to link those things, it's just kind of disingenuous to me. Yeah. There's a group called Freedom Action, which was a conservative Bavarian rebellion against Hitler in the Second World War. Yeah. Trump killing Yankees based. Yeah. Yep.
The Civil War, when it comes to the conflict between the working class, the former slaves, the black people, the people of color, all the
black people. Oh, golly, what sort of idiot is he? The black people, POC. Hold on. It's okay. Hold on. Let's go back for a minute. Let's go back a couple more seconds.
Standard for liberty, when it comes to how we deal with potential criminal suspects. Instead, Donald Trump, as he admitted openly during a rally, ordered the targeted assassination of Reinhold by U.S. Marshals. Now, this is just one more...
Once again, you know what? I'm not going to even lie. You would do the same thing. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, too. Not to be too much of a Fed poster, but guess what? If it was someone that was my enemy, I'd do the same thing. You'd be lying. I would be lying if I completely said, "Oh, it was a complete tragedy." It's like, you say that, but in the back of your mind, you're like, if you had the U.S. Marshals on your, on your payroll and they were willing to do that type of thing, come on, man. Like I say, maybe I'm being maybe I'm being too reactionary, but it's like, come on. You think that Stalin didn't have people executed? Come on. He did what he had to do to keep people in line. It's the same type of thing with Vietnam. You think that Vietnam didn't have people killed? You bet your ass they did. So don't give me that nonsense where you're trying to... This is one of the problems I have with these lefties today. I understand that they do it from a propaganda point of view and from a, bringing people in point of view. But don't lie to people and be like, oh, well, it's so awful what the police are doing to these folks. They're so fascist. Don't give me that. If you had your own police force that spoke for you and you had a personal Felix Dzerzhinsky, you would do the same thing. I don't want to hear none of this nonsense. I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to tell you. You want to say I'm cringe for that? Go ahead. But it's like, come on, man. Don't lie to people. Don't front on people like that. Go ahead. Go ahead, kid.
More body and a large body count that goes back, again, centuries, all the way back to and before the Civil War, when it comes to the conflict between the working class, the former slaves, the black people, the...
Golly, God, what an idiot. The black people, the POC.
People of color, all the different groups in the USA who have been targeted by white supremacism, by capitalism, by all these forms of oppression. So if you look at history from this angle, the struggle between marginalized, oppressed groups, the working class.
You think that, so hold on. Do you think that the POCs, you call them, the Latinos, I know they don't like using that term, Latinx or whatever gay ass term y'all using. You think that Latinos and black folks completely get along? Once again, you know, you want to talk about a lie. Come on, man. You think that these various groups, you know, the thing is, these groups don't like each other either because they have a different view of things. And they say, well, we want to do it this way. We want to do things that way. Fuck you. And that's what happens, right? People start smacking each other up, right? I don't really have a thing where it's like, oh, the working class, black folks, POC, it's like, well, that can include all the same thing, but also there are vast differences between those groups. So I don't get that shit. Go ahead.
And the white supremacist capitalist elites who dominate us, then it's pretty clear that that Civil War conflict never ended. It has turned into more of a Cold War recently. And of course, there's speculation that it will become more hot. Of course, it has always been hot, depending on your perspective. Remember, you know, people are worried about the apocalypse right now with global climate change. People are worried about the extinction of civilization as we know it if we don't do something about climate change in time. But things have been apocalyptic for indigenous people since the founding of the United States of America. You know, the Native Americans have been dealing with an apocalyptic level event going back to the 1500s, the 1400s. The black people who have been imported here against their will to become slaves have been dealing with apocalyptic circumstances going all the way back to the beginning, the roots of slavery. And the working class in the USA has been
world color, folks,
under attack, violent, physical attack by the
random
police
black
state
burger.
going back, again, centuries. So this civil war that people are speculating about is not only nothing new, but it's been ongoing. Since the founding of the United States of America, and even before the founding of the United States of America, we are engaged in civil war. We are being gunned down in the streets and have been for decades and decades.
What's this we stuff? That's what black folks would say. It's like, that's what black folks would say. I mean, it's like an ordinary black dude or even a BLM protester, I imagine, would be like, what's this we stuff, cracker? As I would say the same thing, be like, what's this we stuff, cracker? You in Vietnam. What you talking about? Who's shooting at you, bruh? You acting like you gonna come out here and defend us? Man, get the hell up out of here. You know, I'm putting on somewhat of a fake Southern accent. It's like, yo, come on, man. What you talking about, cracker? Man, I'll whoop your ass. They'll whoop your sorry cracker ass more than they'll whoop my ass. Don't give me that shit talking about, oh, we... Give me a break.
And decades. Once you understand this version of history, this perspective of history, you'll start to realize that it's not a question of if or when revolution should happen, or if or when we should engage in rising up in insurrection against the state. It's already happening. There are already people out in the streets right now risking and losing their lives for this conflict, and have been for a long, long time. It's just a question of whether or not you're going to join our struggle. And I'm talking to you specifically right now. So this brings me to one of the criticisms that I have, not just of liberals, but even of some leftists who, you know, consider themselves reformists or soc dems or dem socs, people who think that we can somehow evolve or use the state apparatus to overthrow capitalism and oppression. I'm sorry, but it's not a matter of whether or not we should have this kind of violent struggle. We are already engaged in violent struggle.
Okay, he's about to Fed post, and then he's gonna circle back. He's gonna backpedal. It's like a couple times he has to backpedal. I'm like, bro, if you really mean what you say, just say it. That's my take, but go ahead. I'm repeating.
We are already being assassinated. It has been happening for a long, long, long time. You know, look at Fred Hampton, who was gunned down while he was sleeping in bed by the
Yeah, that's awful. You know what I will say to that, though, is why do you keep bringing up Fred Hampton? Why don't you talk about Huey Newton getting killed? You don't care about the light-skinned brother. You only care about the dark-skinned brother that was with you, right? Because he was more of an ML, you like talking about him. You don't like talking about Huey Newton. See? Kind of typical, isn't it? Go ahead.
police state and tell me that that wasn't an act of war. Look at the murder of Michael Reinl. Tell me that wasn't an act of war. Look at the way that fascists are able to gun down protesters in the streets and be treated so much better than, you know, black people when they get arrested or protesters when we get arrested. It is not really up for debate whether or not we should have violent conflict. Violent conflict is being enacted upon us. So we have to understand that. We have to come to grips with that. It's not pleasant. It's not fun to think about. But the results of this election will not determine whether or not we have to have some kind of revolution. The revolution is already happening. There are already people.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that point. But the thing is, I just don't like you motherfuckers. That's the whole thing. If the left was actually what it was in the 19th and early 20th century, then maybe I would fuck with y'all. But the fact is, it's like, am I going to listen to some expat who lives in Vietnam? I don't respect that. I'll be honest with you. A lot of folks be like, yo, why aren't you over here helping us then? Why is it that you're stuck in Vietnam? And I know, COVID-19, minus the COVID stuff, why the fuck you ain't over here then? You just want to say, oh, we should do this, we should do that. The fuck you gonna do? That's what I would say. Go ahead.
People who are fighting and dying for their own freedom. There are political prisoners, thousands and thousands of political prisoners who are in jail right now simply because of the color of their skin or because of their political creed. It is happening. We are involved. I mean, look at Vietnam. Look at the people who were forced to come to this war and fight through the draft. They were gunned down and murdered.
Yeah, exactly.
Not by their Vietnamese foes, but by the capitalist class that pushed them into that war so that they could essentially profit from that war, which is a war fought, I believe, mostly to sell munitions and to push forth the agenda of the military-industrial complex. You can see that there were more bombs dropped on Vietnam and Laos alone during the Vietnam War than all the countries.
Hold on. I thought that was Korea. I mean, you got me fucked up because it's like I heard that was North Korea that was bombed all the hill, that had more bombs dropped in it than all of Europe. And also, number two, what he mentions about Vietnam is the fact that, Vietnam got weapons from the Soviet Union and China. And of course, China was like, yo, the fuck you ain't paying me for? And of course, you talk about the Sino-Vietnamese War. You won't hear him say about that because he has half a brain. He's not going to say anything about that. But you notice he doesn't go into detail about, Vietnam getting support from the Soviet Union and China. You don't hear a word about that. Go ahead.
That were involved with World War II combined dropped during World War II, which was obviously a much bigger
that was Korea. But go ahead.
Scale of a conflict. You're dropping all those bombs and missiles on these innocent people here in Vietnam, not because you actually care about the people in Vietnam, obviously, or you wouldn't be dropping.
Neither do you, but okay.
Dropping bombs on them, but because you want to sell the bombs and the missiles to the Department of Defense. That is the war machine apparatus that we have that is, destroying millions of lives around the world for the profits of American elites. And that's happening right now. We have the drone strikes happening right now, obviously a massive terror campaign that was built in large part by Obama and Biden. So we can't expect the liberals to save us from that.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is...
Correct. Go ahead.
People are dying all around the world right now. It's not a matter of if or when. It's a matter of how you will participate in this struggle that is happening and has been happening for a very, very long time.
So basically, he's giving hints that's like, okay, get your strap, homie. Do what you got to do, right? That's the sort of thing. But what does he do?
Really, your only options right now are to look away and pretend that things aren't as bad as they are and haven't been as bad as they have been for so very, very long, or to stand up and join this struggle. I'm not saying you have to pick up a gun and go out in the streets.
Yeah. See, you undid all that stuff you were talking about. Number two, the thing is that, you know, if you live in a small town, what sort of lefty group is around you? What sort of lefty group is around you? If you live in, I don't know, let me pick out a random place here. I'll just try to be careful. It's like if you live in, if you live in, I don't know, like Chickasaw, Oklahoma, for example. If you live in Chickasaw, Oklahoma, or Chickasha, excuse me, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how it's pronounced, but yeah, Chickasha, Oklahoma. You think that, you know, there's some group for you? Or if you're in Quanah, Oklahoma, you think that there's a group for you somewhere? You know, or you think that you should just start rising up and you know, convert people in that way. I don't get this type of shit where it's like, you know, once again, he's doing a lot of very pushy type of stuff here. It's like he doesn't really understand how people work. You know, it's like, are you going to feed me? Are you going to, you know, if I lose my job, are you going to protect me? If I go to jail or, you know, for going out there and protesting, are you going to help me? That's what you know, that's what I would ask. Be like, hey, you know, be a hero on your own time. Are you going to defend me if some shit happens? That's the real question. And of course, he doesn't have the answers to that. But I'm saying is that in a practical way, you need to ask yourself those questions. Are those comrades actually going to go out there and help you? That's the real question, isn't it? That's my take. Yeah. Look away and pretend like this is fine. Almost like running away to, being an expat in Vietnam. Yeah. Believing in having these politics makes him a revolutionary, gives him credit to preach down to others. Yeah.
And start an armed revolution right now. But I am saying that there is an armed conflict.
See, I'm real curious about what this, because he claims to have activist cred. He claims to have some cred out there in South Carolina because he used to be a libertarian, I think, for a time. But it's like he claims a lot of cred and everything else, and of course, but then he'll say stuff like, "Oh, but I was in Hollywood, you know, being a marketer, this and that." So I'm like, you know, I'm trying to make sense of it. It's like then he ran a shop in like Portland, I think, or something of some sort. I don't know what it was, like selling weed or something. I don't know, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really fit together. It's like, I know that you're on YouTube, this and that, but it's like, okay, if you're going to reveal yourself, I ask some questions like, okay, yo, what you trying to do, man? But that's just me. Go ahead.
Being waged against us right now. There are people being shot down in the streets. There are people who are dying and suffering and languishing in prison right now. There are people who are having their lives destroyed right now. There are concentration camps across the United States of America filled with immigrants who committed the crime of living in a place that white supremacists don't want them to live in. Now, I hope this is obvious, but I will say it directly just in case it's not. I'm not calling for violence right now.
So you get people all gassed up. You get people all gassed up saying all this tough stuff, saying all this tough talk about, you know, but then you're like, oh, I don't want violence, though. What the fuck are you talking about then?
I'm not asking you to pick up a gun and go outside and again, start an armed revolution. That's not what we're...
What the fuck is the point of this then? He doesn't even say join a group. He doesn't even mention any sort of group or any sort of, you know, organization at all. So
we're talking about, what we're talking about is the kinds of revolution that I've been advocating on this channel for years now, things like building direct action, mutual aid, dual power structures. I've got many videos on this. I will put them in the link in the description. But these are things you can do right now. You can go and you can donate to bail funds if you don't want to, you know, get for whatever reason, if you're not able to participate directly in protests, like I can't because I'm here in Vietnam.
Because you chose to. Because number one is COVID. Okay, I'll give you that. But number two is because I don't think you had that much cred to begin with. But go ahead.
Have fundraisers. There are lots and lots of things you can make. Agitation, propaganda. There are lots of ways for you to participate in this struggle. But the first thing you have to do is recognize the nature of this struggle and understand.
Notice that he's talked about a lot of individualist things. It's very funny to me. He hasn't talked about collectivist things at all. Have you heard him mention joining a group? Nope. Have you heard him talk to people or tell them about, Marx and Lenin? Tell them about whichever, talk to people. No, he hasn't talked about that. He's talking about individualist type things, which once you get arrested, ain't nobody going to come help you. Think on that for a minute. Think on that. Go ahead.
That this isn't just about who the next president is, and it's not just about whether or not voting for Biden is harm reduction. Voting for Biden is still voting in a system that is inherently violent against a lot of people.
Once again, I'm not going to deny that, but he undoes it once again with his hypocrisy. Here we go.
Including yourself if you're a member of the working class. So, I'm not saying not to vote for Biden. If you consider that harm reduction, that's fine. That's great.
Then why did you say that shit before then? If you were just going to say, well, if you think it is, then okay, what is this type of centrist bullshit? I play that game too sometimes, but it's like, if you're trying to radicalize people, then it's like, well, if you think that Biden is harm reduction, then bruh, what are you doing?
But just remember that if Biden wins, and I believe he will win at this point, we'll see in about a month if I'm right or not. But, once Biden wins, he just becomes the new leader of a murderous regime that's committing genocide, many genocides across the planet right now. So, how complicit do you want to be in this system? Or do you? I
don't like to be guilted. I'll tell you that right now. It's like, yeah, you can say America is awful and, a lot of organizations are fucked up. But you ain't going to guilt me by saying, oh, how much do you want to be involved with that? Well, it sounds like even if I join your group and they research me, then they still going to hang me. So what the fuck are you even talking about, man?
You want to join us in dismantling it. It needs to be dismantled. It must be dismantled if there's any hope for liberation, for ending the suffering, for ending these genocides. If there's any hope for that, it must be dismantled. And the sooner we can all get on board with that idea, the sooner we can all wrap our heads around that and come to terms with that fact, that reality, the sooner we can end this brutal oppression, this domination of the working class, this white.
Like I say, yeah. He flips his hair every second. Yeah, it is disgusting. Yeah. Not sure if Biden will win. Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff. Yeah. I can't be bothered to vote. Yeah. I'll put a meme on the community tab so everyone can download. Oh, okay. That sounds good. Okay. I'll see you later, Rendadonium. Yeah. You think CIA sponsored peaceful revolutions? Yeah. His own non-actions. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
White supremacism, this capitalist atrocity. And I think that if anything, the recent pandemic should just drive this point home even farther. They are willing to let you die. They are going to let you die. They are going to murder you. They are going to murder the people that you love and care about. Eventually, they will.
Once again, he's using some fear mongering now. He's using the fear mongering. Go ahead.
Come for you. If you think that I'm
this is the inverse thing of what muff fascists say. They're gonna come for you, they're gonna come for your family. The commies are gonna come kill you. They're gonna kill your family and everyone that you love. This is pretty much the inverse of that.
I'm exaggerating right now or being overly dramatic, then I just gotta ask you, how many people have to die through this system of oppression? How many people have to suffer and go to prison and get locked away in concentration camps and separated from their families and mutilated by the government? How much blood has to flow through this system of capitalism and white supremacism and domination before you take this as seriously as we on the revolution?
I remember I tested him and I sent a comment that said, are you willing to do a video on Chaz? In depth about the history of it and what it actually was. And then he's like, he pussied out. And he's like, oh, well, I have to get someone that was actually there. Bruh. This fool talked to someone that was at Chaz, that was recording it. He put out a tweet, just as several lefties did, that they're like, today the people won. We killed a fascist. Turned out it was a 13-year-old black kid that was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee. He made a tweet that said, yeah, we killed a fascist. Oh, fuck. And then he deleted it. You notice that he didn't say shit about that. He didn't try to correct it. He didn't try to say, I apologize. Maybe he did. I don't know. But still, this is the type of shit you deal with, right? Go ahead.
Left do. What is it going to take for you to finally stand up and admit that this is something we got to fight for if we want to collectively survive? Right now, maybe you're comfortable, maybe you're insulated from this oppression, but you won't be forever, I promise you. They will come for you eventually, and even if a fascist doesn't come for you directly ever, guess what? Climate change is coming down the pipe. And that's
wow. So once again, he undoes himself again, where he's like, well, they're going to come for you. Even if they don't come for you, though, then climate change is going to happen. then they'll get you unless you join us. Yeah. It's just, imagine resorting to this level of, I don't even know what to call it, but golly, are you serious, man? Yeah. I don't know. The Berlin Wall is pretty based. Yeah. What if we used all the Israel money on bunkers instead? Yeah. Chad Burton versus First Wall. Yeah. We could do so much good socialist stuff with all the money we send to Israel. And that's true.
It's going to hit you very hard, and you are going to suffer. And everyone is going to suffer for a very long time. We don't do something about this system right now. And please understand that, again, I guess I have to stress this over and over again. I am not calling for violent armed insurrection.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're just calling for mutual aid. Basically, you're giving stuff to random people. That would be better if you actually had a job, to actually pay for water or even bottles or something like that. But, but yeah, I mean, I guess mutual aid is.
But I am telling you that violence is already being committed upon us, and we have to be prepared for the worst case scenario, because the worst case scenario is already happening. The police are taking the side with fascists openly. The president has openly admitted that he has called for the targeted assassination of an anti-fascist activist. They are coming after us literally with guns ablazing, and we have got to be prepared for this eventuality. It's not something that we can prevent, because it's something that's already happening, and we need to be ready to defend ourselves. We need to be conscious of what's going on, and that's really all I'm saying. We need to know that we are under fire right now, and even if you're not physically in danger yourself personally, you have to understand that people that you presumably care about as a leftist are in harm's way. And we have to all ask ourselves, what are we going to do about it? How willing are we to fight for the safety, the liberation, the lives of our fellow human beings?
It's kind of funny that he puts it this way, because I saw that apparently a couple of days ago in Portland, once again, as always, the homeless dudes were fighting some of the Antifa folks, so I heard. And there's this brief video of a black dude, and there was this Native American who was saying, oh, you guys stole my land and this and that. And, this black dude, I think he said something to the black dude. I can't remember what it was offhand. Like, like you're an N-word or something like, well, I don't think he said that. I don't know. But it's like he said something about him. And this black dude got all up in the dude's face, clocked that Native American dude right across the jaw. And, everyone's just like, oh, look at, so don't, this idea, once again, that these folks are fighting for you. That's nice to say. And maybe it is true to a point, but it's like, people are going to fight you. All right. Let me tell you that right now. Let's once again, let's make this a reality, is that people are going to fight you. And, you have to be conscious of that. I don't think a lot of folks are willing to deal with that idea. And everyone's got their own propaganda that they want to obey, right? So, you're dealing with a Native American guy, or an indigenous guy who's talking about, white folks stole the land, must settlers, this and that. And you're dealing with a black dude who's homeless. Like, I don't even have a job, dude. What you talking about? And he gets clocked. That Native, the indigenous dude gets clocked. So it's like, worlds are colliding. And, ideas are colliding. Now, really, it just depends on who's stronger and who's willing to put up a better fight. That's my thing, yeah. Fascism is when conservatives do things, yeah. He has no clue what fascism is, yeah. Israel is already very, yeah. Watch the rattlers rise up and fight the government, but get crushed because they have no vanguard party. That's true. That is true.
Around the world. So let's come together now and just admit we are having a revolution. We are having a civil war. It's nothing new. It's time for all of us to come together and take this fight as seriously as it needs to be taken. This is a battle. It sounds so dramatic, and it makes me sound like a wacky weirdo to say this, but this is a battle for the future of humanity. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It is a matter of socialism or extinction, and the sooner you join us, the better. I'm Emerican Johnson. This is not.
What does us mean? What does that mean? It's like, once again, do you think that Antifa and the PSL share the same thing? No, that's called left unity, I thought, or tactical unity. So what are you talking about? It's like, join us. The fuck does that mean? And that's not defeatism. That's me being pragmatic. I'm 35, bro. I can hear my knees pop. It's like, what you gonna? It's like, you gotta give me something. Not all this. Oh, well, you need to join us. We need to fight this. Extinction and everything else. It's like, well, homie, what are you gonna? You gotta promise me something, man. I hate to be like that, but it's like, look, people are realistic. Like, yo, you better pay me. You better do something. You gonna feed me. You gonna do something. Come on, man. That's just me, yeah. Yes, but all the healthy adults should be working in an ideal society. Yeah. Okay. Can one leftist? Yeah. Can one be a leftist while not working? Yeah. This guy doesn't work. It seems, yeah, even his takes are just an amalgamation of bread tube takes, so can't even give him points for intellectual labor. Yeah. It really is, yeah.
Compete. Keep fighting if you already are, and if not, get your ass up and join the fight.
This is, you know what? This is the same type of thing with BLM. When they go through neighborhoods, and we've seen, for those that have been outside the United States, is that they, I can show the video. Maybe I can find a video. I'll find it from Memology here. I know, take it with a grain of salt. I know he's cringe. Let me see here. This is all Fei Hua here. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just go ahead and type it in here. Out in the streets, yeah. To the streets being lamb. Okay, let me see here. So, I mean, a lot of these folks, they're saying, hey, go out in the streets. They're going through people's neighborhoods saying, yeah, out in the streets, you got to come fight with us and all this sort of thing. It's like, it's just desperation. I don't, like I say, man, it's hard for me to take this serious. So let's watch this for a brief minute. Yoba, it's good old baked Alaska for a minute. Let's go ahead and watch this just for a minute, and then we're not going to watch this. But yeah, oh my goodness.
That's good. That's sharing.
Hell yeah. We could pour some rum in there.
Why is this guy? You know what? I'm going to say this about baked Alaska. Why is he not in jail yet? Why is he not in jail? I mean, he should be. I'm just going to say it. He should be in jail. But it's like, yo, what is he doing?
Just two hats. Is this together? No. I'll buy it for you. It's on me. Two of these.
Just petty, yeah. The Stasi was based, not gonna lie, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't work, you don't eat, yeah. No work, no eat, yeah, that's true. I don't really get this, man. Like I say, I don't really get this sort of, with dudes like Baked Alaska.
Woo! Alrighty.
All right, I'm done with this. He should be in jail. I'm just going to say it like that. But yeah. There's a guy up in the corner with the glasses. That was none other, I believe, than Baked Alaska. That was good old Baked Alaska, a.k.a. Tim, whatever the fuck his name is, Tim Gooberface. I don't know. What is his name? What's Baked Alaska's real name? I can't think of it. It's Tim something. Tim Gione, that's it. Yeah, Tim Gione. It's hilarious with Baked Alaska. Tim Gione. Might as well say Tim TNA, titties and ass. But I was gonna say is that this dude, you know, he's just trolling folks. You know, he's going through. It's like, yeah. I mean, what else? Yeah, no, not him. The guy with on your shit. Oh, that's Pytel, Carl Otto Pytel. Yeah, that's who that is. Union Army Ball. Yeah, baked acting like the annoying leftist he hates. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I say, man, it's wild out there. Yeah, yeah, that was it's Carl Otto Pytel. But yeah, yeah, like I say, man, I wanted to respond to that video because I felt like I say, there's some things I agree with what he said, with what Emerican Johnson said, but I feel like a lot of it was just, it's like, it was just so half-assed, you know what I mean? Where it's like, he wanted to try to say, oh, we need to get together, you know, you need to get out your ass and fight. Oh, but I don't mean using guns, though. I don't mean that. And I don't like that sort of hypocrisy. I just don't like that. It's like, if you're going to say something, then just say it, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite too. Maybe I'm just as bad as Emerican Johnson. I don't know. But it's like, it makes, you know, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Where, you know, he just going to go off and say these things. Like, look, I get it. That's his job. He wants to do these videos and everything. But it's like, you know, it gives me frustrated. Like I say, I don't know. Like I say, and for me, you know, what I've talked about more specifically is balkanization, not just civil war. That's a part of civil war, I think. But, you know, balkanization, I think, is a larger point where it's like, yeah, the breakup of the United States, you know. And of course, like I say, it all depends on who's going to have the strength, who's going to build up a better army, and who has resources and everything else, right? So, I don't know. Like I say, man, it's just it gets me upset when I see people like him. I don't like expats. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I don't care for expats who think that they know better than other folks because they live in another country. You know, it's like, yo, man, what are you even talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, what? I don't get that argument. I really don't get it. But that's just me. I think I've said my piece. But yeah. Anything else y'all want me to talk about? I'll give it a minute, but yeah. Oh, not him. Yeah. Oh, is that Glasses Gang? Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. Let me go ahead and... I'm bugging. Let me go ahead and change... Here we go. There we go. We'll go ahead and put... Go ahead and put him up there, and we'll go ahead and... the overlay, we'll go ahead and do Nasser. There we go. Can't go wrong with Nasser, can we? Can't go wrong with Abdel Nasser, yeah. Oh, it didn't miss much, yeah. Sometimes divorce is messy than staying, yeah. It's less messy than staying together, being miserable, yeah. Like I say, we just finished up that Reddit video, Red Dundonian. But I feel like, you know, we all see that something's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and who are going to be the players, you know. Like I say, you know, I've tried to stay pretty vague about it, this and that. Ultimately, it's like, you know, as I've said, you know, is that people are going to do what they have to do, what they feel is right. So, I mean, for me, people are going to do what they have to do, right? So, whatever that means for you, you know, if you think, yeah, Nasser clear-sighted, yeah. Yep, exactly. No fear of fog obstructing his vision. Yep, exactly. You know what? I actually have a little bit of let's see here. So I read Che Guevara last time. Let me go ahead and read let me go ahead and read some more Xi Jinping. Why not? Let me go ahead and pull out one of those books. So give me just a moment, folks. Okay, why not? All right. Here we go. Here's something for Skeptical Manus if he comes in. So this is Carry On the Enduring Spirit of Mao Zedong Thought. This is from December 26, 2013. Okay. The enduring spirit of Mao Zedong thought refers to the stand, viewpoint, and method crystallized in the thought, which features three basic tenets: seeking truth from facts, the mass line, and independence. In the new conditions, we should uphold and apply the enduring spirit of Mao Zedong thought in building our party and advancing the great cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics. As a fundamental tenet of Marxism, seeking truth from facts is a basic requirement for Chinese communists to understand and transform the world. It is also our party's basic thinking, working, and leading approach. We have upheld and should continue to uphold the principle of proceeding from reality in everything we do, integrating theory with practice and testing and developing truth in practice. Okay, sorry there. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Mao Zedong once said, "Facts are all the things that exist objectively. Truth means their internal relations, that is, the laws governing them, and to seek means to study." He also used the metaphor of shooting the arrow at the target. That is, we shoot the arrow of Marxism at the target of China's revolution, modernization, drive, and reform. To seek truth from facts, we must acquire a deep understanding of a matter as it is, see through the surface into the heart of the matter, and discover the intricate link between matters amidst fragmented phenomena. We should follow objective laws on the basis that we recognize the existence of a matter and its development laws. Upholding the principles of seeking truth from facts is not done once and for all. You may succeed by following the principle at a certain place and at a certain time, but that does not mean you may succeed again by following the principle at another place and at another time. The conclusion or experience drawn at a certain place and at a certain time does not necessarily apply at another place and at another time. We should conscientiously strengthen our conviction in seeking truth from facts and enhance our ability to apply it. Chinese for socialism. Deng killed. Maoists aren't going to like this. Yeah. Mayor Lyles and Professor Dr. Mao want to know your location. Yeah. We should always bear it in mind and implement it in our work. As we stand now, seeking truth from facts means that we should clearly understand our basic national condition. That is, our country is still in a primary stage of socialism and will remain so for a long time to come. When advancing reform and development and formulating guidelines and policies, we should do everything in line with this basic national condition. Any tendency to pursue quick access regardless of objective conditions, I have a feeling I'm going to have to go. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut to the end of this speech here. Okay. Adhering to the independence requires us to uphold our independent foreign policy of peace and follow the path of peaceful development. We should hold high the banner of peace, development, cooperation, and benefit for all. Maintain friendly relations with other countries on the basis of the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. Conduct exchanges and cooperation with other countries on the basis of equality and mutual benefit. Staunchly safeguard world peace and promote common development. We should take our positions and make our policies on the issues on their own merits. Uphold fairness and justice. Respect the right of each people in deciding his own development path independently, and never force our will upon others, nor allow anyone to impose theirs upon us. We stand for peaceful resolutions to international disputes, oppose all forms of hegemony and power politics, and never seek hegemonism. never engage in expansion. We will resolutely defend our sovereignty, security, and development interests. No country should assume that we will trade away our core interests, nor will we accept anything that harms our sovereignty, security, or development interests. Okay. Yeah, anarcho six packs are checking in. You know, well, and that's all right. That's all right. That's okay. Let the haters talk. Let them do that. I'm not bothered by that. That's okay. It was probably that Zionist bot that I ticked off a while back. It was probably them. That's okay. You can't make everyone happy. As they say, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. But yeah, such is the way, as they say. You can't please everyone, you got to please yourself. A little truth in that. But yeah, it's a difficult thing, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all argue in the chat about it. I'm not going to get into all the details of it. I think it is what it is. It's a complicated matter, I'll put it that way. It is a complicated matter, I'll put it that way. And, you know, it's all easy to say, but, you know, we don't wish harm, put it that way. We don't wish harm on China. You know, I say that China's doing what it's doing right now, you know. I mean, you can disagree with what they're doing overall, but to me, they, you know, it's their country. So it's a very complicated thing. That's all I can tell y'all. If you disagree, okay. You can be, yeah. Just heard that song yesterday. Yeah. Went to a garden party. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, here we go. That looks promising. Let me see here. Promote the Silk Road spirit, strengthen China-Arab cooperation. This is from June 5th, 2014. Let me see here. This is kind of long, probably. Let me see here. He gives some long-ass speeches. I tell you what. Yeah. China good, though? Oh, okay. China good? Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, as long as we agree on that, you know, I'm cool with China overall. You know, China's doing what they got to do. You know, I'll put it that way. Like I said, I'm not going to get into, you know, I'm not as invested in what goes on in China and other things. I mean, overall, like I say, man, they, you know, it's complicated. I'll put it that way. And unless you've lived in China or unless you understand Chinese history, you know, it's a very complicated thing. There are a lot of different groups, you know. Dan Gibson is Chinese Bothism. Can we watch the Communist Party? There would be no new China. Okay. You want to do that for the outro? All right. I will take up that recommendation. Okay. I will go ahead and take that. I will go ahead and do that. Why not? Okay. There would be no new China. There we go. There it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, why not? We'll go ahead and do that. This is a funny little meme. Why not? Here we go. Hold on. Let me unmute it there. We'll go big screen. Could she be any more based? Yeah. There's all those that adapt. Okay. Better than Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and close it out with this then. You know. Oh, you can barely hear? Okay. Let me see here. Oh, shit. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and... sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see how that does. Not my Wiggerinos, yeah. The Wiggerinos, no! Yeah. Yep, there you go. All right. Okay, well, there we go, folks. I appreciate y'all listening to my ranting and raving, and I hope y'all enjoy. I think that's all I got, though. Yeah, if you ever need to visit, yeah, need a visa for China, you know what to do. Yeah. All right. And that's ironic. It sounds like the dryer buzzer's going off, so I got to fold some laundry and everything. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day or enjoy the rest of your night, depending on what time it is across the world. And I hope y'all have a good one. And I think I'll leave it there. Goodbye.